Quick, what's wrong with this picture? If you said this is an EBO3 booster box being sold when it's not even out yet, you are correct. In fact, EBO3 isn't supposed to come out for another 2.5 weeks. If you said the price is off, you are also correct. EBO3 is supposed to retail for, wait for it, $120, but usually you'll see booster boxes for around $140 if your LGS's rent is tight. This listing is for $680.
Huh?
That is not a markup, it is robbery. This is a 5x increase over the MSRP for a One Piece booster box. What is up, guys? It's your boy Real_Joshua, and we need to have a serious, possibly uncomfortable conversation about scalping. Because while we've always dealt with scalpers in this game, the situation now is different. It is aggressive, it's organized, and it threatens to ruin the game we all know and love. First off, thank you so much for watching. If you have not yet, please like and subscribe for more content, or join my Discord community, which you can join from the link in the description. Now, look, I am not new to this, okay? We've all seen people get boxes in advance, whether it fell off a truck or whether their distributor got them a bit early and sell them for marked up prices. This situation is different because of the scale, a 5x markup. Sure, EBO3 is a special heroine set featuring the ladies of One Piece, but this is absurd, guys. So if you've been living under a rock, or if you just play in the sim and don't look at One Piece Twitter all day like I do, here's the situation. In the last few months, we have seen a massive influx of what the community lovingly refers to as Poke Bros. These are investors and speculators coming over from the Pokemon TCG market. Why? Because the Pokemon market has cooled off a bit, and now they are looking at One Piece as their new blue chip investment. They are not into One Piece as the IP, they haven't seen all the episodes, they don't even know what the cards do. By and large, they are just here to make a profit.
Does he have a manga? He doesn't? Okay, yeah, that's why I don't know him.
Specifically, they are looking for a few things: main characters, iconic art, the waifus like Robin, Nami, Boa, and the mascots like Chopper. And so what they're doing is that they will execute these very targeted buyouts where they go onto TCG Player, they see there's only like 40 listings for a card that could have a lot of value, like a Nami or a Luffy card, and they buy all the stock of that. When they do this, they control the supply so they can put these back on the market for basically whatever price that they want. This behavior is causing prices to shoot up across the board, not just for high rarity cards, but for everything adjacent to them. If you've bought cards within the last month, you've probably already noticed this. Let's talk about OP14. A few months ago, during the pre-order window, you could get a hold of this for nearly MSRP, and this was at a time around OP12 where you could get booster boxes for very close to retail prices. It finally felt for a while there like the early issues of short printing had finally passed, and that we could finally get a hold of One Piece product for reasonable prices. Smash cut to today and the advent of Pokebro investors, and you have OP14 booster boxes sitting at around $230. That is a $110 markup over retail, and this is just talking about market price on TCGplayer.com. Think about that. That's nearly double the price. If you're just a casual player looking to crack open a box on a Friday night, you have practically been priced out, especially if this is a more casual hobby for you. And this has affected the entire One Piece market. If you go to an LGS, you will often see market price listed on the store shelves for these things because, well, that's what these stores can get for the boxes, so that's how they price them. And this is not because the set has been short printed. Like I said, the printings have gone up over time, making the game a lot easier to acquire. It's because of the perception of scarcity manufactured by these scalpers, which has caused these prices to go to the moon. The chance to rip open an SP Buggy, or an Alt-Art Boa Leader, or an SP Zoro, just the promise of being able to open these in one of these boxes causes their value to spike, regardless of whether or not the average box is going to be worth that much. So what does that mean for One Piece? Is the card game dead? Well, it depends on who you ask. And for that, we have to separate the collector experience from the player experience, because the scalper situation has impacted both of these communities in extremely different ways. If you're a collector, I'm gonna be honest with you, things are a bit of a nightmare right now. On the bright side, the things that you've collected up to this point have probably skyrocketed in value, meaning it's probably a pretty good time to sell some of that stuff if you don't care about it as much in your collection and the prices are extremely inflated. Now, if you are trying to collect a master set, or God forbid you are a Boa Hancock card collector, well, you now find yourself in the financial Serengeti, forced to compete with people who have deeper pockets and little or no love for the IP. Unless this scalping bubble bursts, your wallet is going to hurt. But here's the twist. If you're a player, the game might actually be better than ever. I know that sounds crazy. Boxes are $230. How could the player experience be good? Well, because the playable cards, everything from common up through SR, are still very much accessible. Even as box prices skyrocket, the singles market for non-alt art cards has stabilized quite a bit, and that is a promising sign. I mean, look back on OP06, which is when I started playing One Piece. At that time, Bandai was notorious for short printing the cards, meaning that even some of the cheaper decks, like Blue Purple Reiju, which I was building at that time, could run you around $150. Again, this was one of the cheapest decks that you could get in the game. Mostly commons, uncommons, and rare cards. But yeah, check out this list I put together at the time. The Reiju SR alone was going for $20 a pop, and that was a must run in the deck. In OP07, I played RP Law, a deck that was going for almost $500 and took me months to build, doing a bunch of bargain hunting and trying to get this deck for as cheap as I possibly could. Today, you could still build a tier 1 competitive deck for $50 to $70. In fact, 2 of the top 3 decks are under the $200 price point, which is great for top meta decks. One of those decks, Emu, is $50 or under. Meanwhile, the game itself is thriving. Just last week, I went to a local on a Monday night and there were 38 players. This is a local that a couple months ago on a Monday night, you could scarcely find a dozen people in there. Meanwhile, play rates on the sim are also up massively. Just check out this recent tweet from the developer of the sim, Meibatsu. The scalpers may be able to buy out our boxes, but they can never take the friendships we made along the way. Still, I don't want to be too optimistic because after all, there are still some structural problems here that I do not want to ignore. First off, this is not a problem that Bandai can correct just by printing more cards. That's because unlike playable cards, collectible value is very fragile. SPs, mangas, alt arts, these are typically one-time print runs, and unless Bandai decides to flood the market and destroy the value of everyone's collections, which I highly doubt that they are going to do, buyouts are always going to be possible. The investors know this, and they will take advantage for as long as they can. The other thing that keeps me up at night is the upcoming set rotation. Starting in April 2026, we are going to lose a huge chunk of the playable card pool in the standard format. What that means is that old staples will no longer be playable, and we're going to have to see a new crop of staples arise from that. The issue comes when you have a rare staple, something like Bartholomew Kuma, the secret rare that came out a few sets ago. As the game has become more scalped and we've seen more yellow decks rise to prominence, we've seen the price of Bartholomew Kuma skyrocket, capping out at around $65 when it launched more in the $30-ish range. Now, if the boxes are being hoarded by investors and the price comes out to around $230, the supply of Kuma or any other future staples entering the market comes down drastically. If players can't open boxes to find Kuma, they have to buy singles. And if the investors know Kuma is in the meta, they can buy out those singles too. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but there is always the potential to see this staples market reach fever pitch prices the way that it did earlier in the game's history. And that is something I would really not like to see happen again. To end on a positive note, here are a couple silver linings. First off, any publicity is good publicity. High prices and sold out signs create buzz. I've already had a lot of people approach me who have never thought about the One Piece card game before, who are now seeing it because the Pokebros have entered the community and are making it a lot more visible in their eyes. This is now a commodity to wider audiences. This encourages Bandai to keep supporting it for the long haul. Second, this has made playing the game extremely lucrative. One of the reasons why there's been such a big turnout at events and in the sim, in my opinion, is because people want to train to get better. Now that boxes are worth $230, winning one is a lot bigger of a deal than it used to be. It gets butts in seats. Now, I don't know when this scalper ordeal is going to end. All I know is that the primary way you're going to perpetuate it is by buying in. You guys, try not to buy for scalper prices. This is what they thrive on. While there have been some positives for the community, overall, I don't like the idea that people who want to collect these cards, who love One Piece, are being blocked out of that because of people who are entering the space and pushing them out. Do not buy EB03 for $680. Don't do it. It's bad for the game, it's bad for collecting, it's bad for your wallet. In the meantime, build up those staple playsets, enjoy the game, and have fun in this wild time that we are experiencing. I want to know what you guys think. Are you liking what's happening to the One Piece community? Are you planning on leaving the game because of this? Has this revitalized your love for the game? Let me know down in the comments below. Again, like and subscribe for more if you like what you see, and I will see you in the next one. Later.